Today we're talking about Vraska, Swarm's Eminence and Oathbreaker. What kind of a deck she might be able to build. What kind of signature spell might be best for her. Vraska costs 4 mana and starts at 5 loyalty. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. And -2, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. She does not have a plus ability at all, and that is a bummer. So, Vraska wants us to build around Death Touch, and a +1/+1 counter theme would be good too. While that -2 is good, we don't want to count on that too much. We want to focus on the static ability more than anything, because she only starts at 5 loyalty, and we really want to keep her on the board. That no plus ability thing is a drawback, but let's see what we can do about that. First, let's cover the signature spell options that can add loyalty to her. I feel like I talk about this one too much, but it's just straight up the best option. The Elder spell for black, destroy any number of target planeswalkers. Choose a planeswalker you control. Put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way. If you only kill one opponent's planeswalker with this, it's still awesome. If you kill 2 or 3, it's just bonkers good. A more fair option is Settle the Score. For 4 mana, exile target creature. Put 2 loyalty counters on a planeswalker you control. But I think that Proliferate is where it's really at in this deck. We can up the loyalty counters on Vraska, but also the +1/+1 counters on our creatures that Vraska's putting on them. There's a lot of good options, but Smell Fear is my favorite. Proliferate, target creature you control fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And Vraska wants you to build around Death Touch, so your creature is going to kill whatever you target with this. Your creature might die, it's true, but it's still very powerful. Silk Guard is an instant for X green. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures you control. Auras, equipment, and modified creatures you control gain hexproof till end of turn, and all your creatures with +1/+1 counters on them are modified. This one's really good for stacking up counters on creatures, but also you can just cast it for green to protect everything you have that has counters. Inspiring Call is an instant for 3 mana. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible till end of turn. These options would be really nice for a deck that focuses on +1/+1 counters a lot. Vraska does put counters on stuff, but I think we need our main deck to focus on +1/+1 counters a little bit too to make the most out of these. Find and Finality is a cool choice too. Find for 2 mana, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. And Finality for 6. You may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 till end of turn. Do note that the command attacks figures on the card itself and not each half individually, so if you cast Find for 2, if you want to cast Finality later, it's going to cost you 8. My favorite choice for political reasons, Gaze of Pain for 2 mana. For each creature you control that attacks and is not blocked, you may choose to have it deal no damage to the defending player this turn. If you do so, it instead deals damage equal to its power to any target creature. So you can work it out with one opponent to agree to not block, and then you send all the damage to other opponent's creatures. Because your creatures have Death Touch, they're just gonna kill those creatures. Now, I'm not gonna say this is the best card ever, or even the best signature spell choice, but it is cool and uniquely good in this deck. Dirge of Dread and Hideous Visage both make your creatures harder to block, so you can get those counters. And Undercity Uprising for 4, creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Then target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. This would be a good option for if you're building a deck without creatures with Death Touch and you plan to give them Death Touch later. I don't think this is the best plan, but you could. Also, it has Vraska in the art, so that's pretty sweet. Night's Whisper does too. It's 2 mana and you draw 2 cards. Just generally good. A great option for people who want to put flavor over synergy and power, although it is still powerful enough. If you liked this video, you can check out one of my many other Oathbreaker videos. I've even got another Vraska video if that's up your alley. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.